Welcome back to NZ Marko Outlaw Kustoms again. So, my name's Glenn. If you haven't caught the earlier videos, at the moment we're working on a 65 Impala. We're doing rust repair on the shell. That's all we're doing at the moment. There may be some other stuff happen later on down the track a little bit. Just depends. And I'm hoping to go see another guy about I think it's late 50s Rambler, I think. I was talking to him a wee while ago. I was talking to him a wee while ago about it when I first got the Impala in here a couple of 3 weeks ago. They managed to have a look at it, and then the end of the first week on this freaking fitment back out right at the end of the day on Friday. I was down here mucking around fitting and whatever. And the rear inner wheel arch that I've made for the back part of it. I've made the outer piece as well with the dog leg. Eventually got the rocker back that I had to get made. I was going to make it myself, but the folder that I would normally use, which is a big long one, it's heavy industrial, and we couldn't get all these little bends in it. The folding blade, instead of being a nice little thin one with an extension, the sheet metal was a big heavy one for bending like big plate as well as sheet metal. It would do both. It was about 10 foot, 12 foot long. I can't remember how long it is, but it's a big one that I can borrow locally. It's reasonably close. That's 12 or 10 minute drive, and then I can do what I want to do. I'll let you use it for a few dollars, and then I can come back and carry on. It's quite handy. Yeah, it just wasn't going to work for this, so I had to wait to get it folded from one of the sheet metal places in town. So I eventually got that end of last week. I managed to get that test fitted, or semi-fitted Friday and a little bit Saturday. But my back's just been, because I blew my back out, it's taken me a bloody near a week to come right with a decent massage and some chiropractic treatments and whatever. I'm still not good, but I'm definitely a lot better. My back's still niggly. It was actually Monday afternoon. I didn't realise until yesterday. Mrs. had a diabetic eye exam checkup in Invercargill, and I had to go with it because they put the drops in eyes, which dilate the eyes. So basically she couldn't drive home, so I had to go with her. It was just a regular checkup, and they just check, her eyes out and whatever, and then she could just drive home. It would have been fine. I could have went to work, but yeah, she couldn't drive back. So I had to go with her. It was unfortunate, which means there's another chunk of time I've lost trying to work on this thing. But anyway, I'll stop waffling, because I've been waffling for long enough now. We'll get into here. Work out what else I got to do to make this fucking thing fit. I want to get it fit and get all the shit tested before the end of the day if I can. It's my plan. Right, we're getting close. I just don't quite like how it's fitting here. It's not too bad here. I think, I'm just thinking maybe if I just put a wee bit of pressure and a little bit along the board on this edge. I don't want to put too much pressure on it. Just see if it'll lift, and then if I can get it to sort of push up and then stay there, once we let the jack go, we might try and get a door on, like I'll bang another text screw in this inside in here. I might have to take a little bit more out of the bottom of this here. Righty, so at the moment I've got the front door on still. I've also been talking to Arco on and off from Minnesota Outlaw Kustoms, Outlaw Edge on YouTube. And I've got the door hinges on the back door and I went and put it on, but the bar that I put across here is still sticking out too far, even though I cut freaking, I don't know, an inch and a bit off it. So I'm going to actually cut it right back to the edge of the door post and see if I can make it fit. Hopefully I can get it in there. Try and show you what I mean, if I can. You might be able to see in there now. So yeah, that bar, the door, it comes right into here. I didn't realise, I was thinking it wouldn't have come back out through to here quite so much, but it does. So I'll trim a bit more off it. And I've got a fairly good weld in the back of it and stuff, so as long as I don't cut into that, I might be just trim it and hopefully it'll be in close enough that I can get the hinges on. So I had it half screwed on, then I wondered why it wouldn't pull in, and I realised it's the door sitting there. So I'll cut a bit more off there and get this on, and then we'll see if we can get the lines of the doors to line up. And yeah, I don't really know quite, I don't know whether I'm going to have to twist that door, like actually undo the hinges on the door and twist it around or not, but I'm hoping that I can just get all the shit to line up. Righty, so I'm just sitting here, zoom back out, looking at this thing and contemplating. It's kind of a pain in the ass, but I really need the rest of the sheet metal. I'm even thinking about the other doors, to put them on to see how they fit, which sucks. I'm pretty sure that it needs to come out about 1/4 of an inch, which I can, 4 or 5 mil, because the dogleg comes down and it actually fits, the door actually fits the back of that body reasonably well, except that key needs to come forward. But I'm not worried about that. I just try to get roughly the doors lined up that way, and I was hoping it was okay that way. It's kind of hard to tell without the front fender, mud guard, what do you want to call it, guard on there. It is tweaked up at the front because we took all the strength out of it, so when I was pushing that bottom of the rocker up to meet with the inner rocker, sill, whatever the fuck you want to call it, to put some Tech screws in there, it's forced the front of that up. So I've got to get that to come down to get a decent line across there. It's actually pretty good until you get to about 4 or 5 inches from that door, and then you can see it starting to bow up. So I've got to get that to come down. It can come out that way, just with the fitment around the post. I can crib another about that much, which I think would make it look lots better. Just for the, but I don't really know if these doors are in and out too far without having, you know, radar support panel and a front guard and a bonnet and all hood and all the other bits on it, to get everything all lined up, to make sure this lines up with not having the other sheet metal on it and it's stripped down like it is. It kind of makes it awkward-ish to just know whether, if I knew that this was in the right place, in and out, well, I would work it out with the rest of it, but it does make it awkward because you don't have that panel there to judge off, and you don't have the other panel on, and you don't have the hood on to obviously make sure that they are square. So it makes a pain in the ass, and I just don't quite know what the shape of that little front panel is. I can check from the other side, I can get a rough idea, but I just would be nice to have that panel there, and then I could make it fit nice too. We're close. It's a pain. I would like to know just a little bit more. I think, it definitely needs to come out and it needs to come down, but yeah, apart from that, I just would like to know whether those doors are close or whether they're a million fucking miles away. I'm just judging by the gap on the front door around here. It's reasonable, if you know what I mean. And this is reasonable. I know it's too far back. It needs to come forward a shitload. Like, probably, I wouldn't say half that gap, but close to it. Because it's pretty close to the back, but I just sort of slapped it on there and tried to get it lined up that way. Just to get a rough idea, but yeah. So it looks like it fits reasonably good around the back. Look, with the door pushed and closed, it's a pain in the ass every time I open it because it's got these stupid screws in it instead of, like, it's got these stupid things top and bottom. They're not easy to frickin' tighten up and get it like a bolt. You can get in and give it a decent crank, but a screwdriver's not so fucking easy. But like down here, just with it roughly sitting, it's not sitting perfect, but it looks like it actually lines up reasonable. Like it wouldn't be hard to make it line up nice, because it's pretty close. But you know what I mean, like it's in that ballpark, you know what I mean? Like it looks pretty good. Just a rough guess, so yeah, it just means the bottom's got to come out, which it can do. Well, this can creep out a little bit, like, we've got a bit of play there. We could force it out a little bit, make it better. Even down here, like it could come this way a little bit with a bit of, with a bit of force. We can make it line up better. Just pain asses. Freaking door. Stupid freaking hinges, or stupid screws for the hinges. But that's where we're at. So I think we'll take a little bit more tomorrow, and hopefully we can see if I can get it better. And if I think I'm good, we play with that door hinge a bit more and whatever. And yeah, it'd just be nice to, if I had all the panel work here and it was on there reasonably well, I had a bit more of an idea just whether this is, it's more the in and out that I'm worried about. Like it's easy to get it to line up. Yeah, up and down. Gap's pretty good at the bottom actually. It just needs to come out apart from the front. But it's the how far in and out to make everything else fit. But yeah, we might have more of a measure off the other side a wee bit tomorrow. Just take a few more measurements from where things sit. That might be the easiest way, and just get a bit more of an idea, see if it's close, going off the side frames of the posts and shit. We'll take some measurements off there. Right, I'll see you tomorrow. Righty guys, so welcome back. Tuesday. So I think what I'm going to do is try and see if I can shuffle this back door forward quarter of an inch. Just to see if I can get it to fit in the back here a little bit better. Just so I can muck around with this little stuff. And then we'll try and see if we can get this rocker, new Sill rocker, whatever you want to call it. But anyway, I'm gonna see if I can wriggle this fucking door forward with these stupid fucking screws. I don't know why they even did that. It's dumb, like they got normal bolts in there and screws in this. I guess it's a bit flush, but I don't really need to. Just try and jiggle the bloody door forward. I can. Somehow. I'm just going to measure some measurements from, I'll show you when we get over there. I know where my guys on just get the budget. Works for me. I need some sort of reference. That's 3.5, or about 90 mil. 95. This piece here, out to here, with this. Do the same here. I just want to make sure that I can get this distance from here to here the same. We only should be in the ballpark. That's 90 in the inside here. About. Yeah, it's got a little reference there, it's got that piece of metal there. I'll go off the edge of that just to give me a rough reference point. 90. As well. Have a decent reference point here. All on the flat here. Here. It's about 95 where it touches here. And flat. First touches. try the same as the other side, just to see. Can come with me cable. Right. See down there. Let's have a look down here. Let's see if we can get a measurement. Super short, well, looking at the year. Yeah. It's obviously just got to come out a long way. Somehow. Kind of close here. I think we can pull that a bit close here. I think we'll get her. Somehow we're gonna get that. That'll just scoot out. We'll fuck the doors off out of the road, and we'll concentrate on trying to get that rocker out to match the measurements from the other side to that surface with using that and the roller, and so we can get everything out to leave it. Get in here if I can. Oh, just double check this measurement. Let's lose the top. So this here should be sitting right here like that. Put this mark here, as long as this isn't bent and twisted, obviously. This should be sitting out there like that. It's going to come out Okay. I'm not going to get that much. Right here. I thought we were 5 mil short, but we're not. Yeah, we're bang on. Well, then a fucking bee's dick. Oh. So we can put a tick screw through here. And we'll hold that out in place. Pretty good. We're still going to get this to manipulate down and bend out a little bit and whatever. This here isn't sitting what we want. Let's give it a whack. See if we can manipulate that a little bit. Right, so you've just seen a whole lot of nothing there for a few minutes, but I'll cut it out. You won't even know. I think I'm getting pretty close. I've trimmed it quite a bit more of this, I wouldn't say off this here, but a bit more metal off the bottom of the, where it joins in, just to clear a bit more metal. I need to put a bit more of a bit more shape in this to clear the inner so I can get it to come up, and then we'll do a couple more measurements, and then so then I realise it's getting close to lunchtime, but Mrs. had to go to the doctor this morning, so yeah, it was about 10:30 I guess when I got here, so yeah, I've sort of forgotten that. Yeah, so I think with a little manipulation now, and obviously a bloody good clean up, weld the inner floor to this inner rocker, or the floor to the rocker, get that painted, clean the inside of this up, get that painted, and then we can, you know, we've got probably enough, I know I haven't got enough holes in there, but we can drill some holes down through here so we can plug weld that on. But yeah, we'll do one more test for it, but yeah, we'll start welding some shit on, and then yeah, we'll do a final test. We'll just make sure those doors sit right. We've bored out a bit, and I'll just have to juggle it around and whatever afterwards. It's about as good as I'm gonna get it. I might have to tweak a wee bit more out of this yet. Just bend this out, and might just give us a little bit more to come out. Haven't set that in stone yet, but yeah, we're getting there. We're getting there. We'll do some trimming. Alrighty, so we're back on here for hopefully the last time as for a test fit. You can see how much I moved this out where I marked originally. So we've tweaked it all, moved it all. I'm still not sure whether I've got this here the right level for that edge, and we may have to, once we get it welded, manipulate it down and push it down. I'm not sure yet. But yeah, we're getting there. I'm pretty happy with down here now. I could need a little bit of manipulation, I think. Now, instead of pulling it in with a screw, you know, we better weld it across there and tweak the end of it like it's pulled in there. But I can muck around with that and shape it properly. And we got to fit it and weld it on. So yeah, we'll have to add a little bit of extra skin around there. I've cut it off to get it to fit, and I've run the inner skin there, but we can add a little piece to go around the corner. It won't matter. Yeah, I didn't think of that, but yeah, I'm just looking at it now. I need to add an outer skin just for that bottom piece of that piece. But it's minor stuff. We can do that after we've got it on. I'm pretty happy with this. Like, we'll be able to butt weld that easy enough. A wee bit of manipulation just to get everything to pull down the line up and whatever else. It's just a bit of tweaking here and there. And obviously we'll have to drill some holes in this piece to plug weld back in like the original, instead of being welded around the fucking edge like it was. I don't want to do that because it's not welded like that, because they had welded around here, whereas I'd rather put a heap of plug welds in there or weld it on that way. I'll try and make that look like that. We'll have to butt weld around it, but hopefully we can clean up. The only thing I wish I could do was put this in, but I can't. It's just one of those things. To be honest, I could actually make a little extra cap and maybe weld it on there and make it look, if we really wanted to, I could put a little extra skin in there. Tack it on or weld it on or something, but that's a lot of extra work for not a lot of gain, if you know what I mean. It would have been nice if I could have, I don't know, if I could make up a bead or a die or something like that to run through the bead rollers and put that in, I would, but I just don't quite have that. But I don't think that's going to matter too much. But yeah, I think we're not far away. The end of it's pretty squared off anyway. I've got to remake that cap to put on and stuff like that. But yeah, now I'll do a last test fit of the doors after lunch, and then we'll rip it all off and we'll start welding the inner floor on and getting everything all primed in bits and pieces and whatever. Weld through primer and crap and stuff, and try and make it look as much as factory as we can. And we'll have to chop that wee bit of floor off to suit that. I'm not sure if I've got enough there to make it look. I have, but I haven't. I think I might have cut it a little bit short, because I should have cut it off like that, just sort of to get a rough position, but we'll make it work. Just to try and mimic this step in it, but should be right. We'll get her. By the time we've finished, it'll, you'll know that it's had a rocker put on, but at least it'll look somewhat factory. I'm just talking about this piece. We'll just have to work out where we want to trim this off a little bit and to try and mimic that. Kind of is what it is, if you know what I mean. Probably should have screwed it up there. We'll put a couple of T-screws in there before we put some plug welds in there anyway. But yeah, well then, I think we're good. We're just adding to double check the doors. I'm not so much worried about this now. I know we've moved it a shitload. It's more this front edge. We'll probably just put maybe the front door and see if we can get this to do what I want it to do. I have had it down a few times, but we'll just see if we can get it to manipulate and do what I want. The biggest problem is when you push that up, it wants to bend this instead of flex the under, like it's doing with all the rest. But yeah, alright, we'll get her. Alrighty guys, so I'm back here after lunch. We're mucking around, got the door back on. Still working on trying to get that piece pushed down a bit. I'm pretty happy with it now. It's, you know, when you pull the door closed, like it's never going to stick out beyond it. But I don't know if it's got a sill trim or not, but I think that's pretty reasonable. Like it doesn't look out of place down here now or anything like that. We're just got to try and get that gap a little bit better at the front and get that to work with for me. But anyway, I was actually watching this earlier on when I was at lunch. It's a new video. It's not Jay Leno, but it's of Jay Leno. They call themselves. Oh, it's inside Jay Leno's cycle drags. But there's a really freaking funny piece up here, which is quite sad. But it shows you made for TV bullshit, you know. What's going here? Let's just pass this piece a little bit.
One of my favorites, the RE5 rotary.
Oh, that's an awesome bike.
Yeah, those are great fun.
How about this? What happened to the choppers? Chopper craze is totally over. Right?
I'm glad it's over. I never got the idea of make it slower, more dangerous, without brakes, and uncomfortable.
You had one from OCC, right?
Oh, that's the biggest piece of junk. You know something? I was so stunned at how bad it was built. You know, they bought an engine from a guy who did a nice job, built a motor, guy out of Atlanta. It's a Harley knuckle replica motor. The motor's fine. You know, I was riding it, and it stops on me, and I realized the electrical system is fused through the rear tail light. So if the rear tail light breaks or blows out, the whole bike stops.
Oh gosh.
And I thought it was dangerous. It didn't stop. Geometry of the steering, it was just, yeah. I mean, they were meant to be. You build one for the fire department, it looks like a fire engine. You build one for the postal service, it looks like a mail carrier or something. But as motorcycles, the ride just horrible.
Well, hopefully the Tuttles honored your warranty on that one. They're down by me now in Clearwater. Oh.
Yeah, and it's a shame because like I used to love, and I've actually got like a fair chunk of the OCC collection, but it just shows, you know, like those bikes were just totally made for TV and promotion only, you know, so. Yeah, so when you see some of these TV programs, it just shows you how they look really cool. All that stuff looks cool, but is it necessarily well made? You know, and stuff like that. It's sad because, like, you know, I watched OCC for years, you know, and I loved it. I thought these bikes are cool, you know. I freaking want to be cool, awesome to have one of those choppers one day, you know, or something like that, you know. And, you know, I still wouldn't mind just trying to, you know, find one that was road hard decent. But, man, when you watch that and listen to that, you know, he basically just said it was the biggest heap of shit. And actually go further on, and he says, like, I wouldn't even ride it across a bar, inside a bar, you know, from one side to the other, because it was just that dangerous, which was really sad. But, you know, especially when you see all these bikes and, you know, and some of the cars that must get made or for TV shows, just makes you wonder what goes into them, how much of a butchery are they just for TV. I kind of know because it's funny, quite a while ago, and I don't know, it may happen at some point, but I just don't know. I think it's might have been one of those things that's fallen by the wayside. But like a couple of years ago, sort of when I first come back here, we were in talks with Arco and Heidi at Outlaw and a couple of others, and they had been talking backwards and forwards with some TV producers to maybe film a TV show. And that was actually one of the things we said. We said we do not want to build cars or vehicles that look like they're really cool and nicely built, and you know, and they're just fucking death traps because you want to build them in 3 weeks sort of type bullshit. It's not what we want to do. We would rather build a car over fucking, you know, 6 months or 12 months, along with other projects, film it and then put it out as a, you know, maybe have some little short sort of stuff to sort of like fill the, I don't know whether to fill the gaps or whatever, but you know what I mean, but basically, you know, start filming it, but then, you know, this sort of stuff that was released, you know, like 6 months or 12 months later, you know, not trying to build it in frickin' 3 weeks so you can get a next episode out for the next month. Sort of type bullshit, because, yeah, I know Arco was saying, I'm not going to say whose vehicles it was, but when they were at SEMA, they seen some people's vehicles that had a TV show, and he said up close, he said it was the biggest fucking pile of shit you've ever seen. He said it looked good from 50 feet, but yeah, he said up close, he said it was the biggest pile of junk you've ever seen. And he said most of the vehicles that had come out of that TV show were like that. So it's sad because, you know, you get people that go and look, and it's probably the average person that don't know a lot about cars or don't know a lot about restoration work or whatever, probably thinks it looks absolutely awesome, and probably even up close they probably don't see the flaws and the poor workmanship. But when you're doing it all the time, or being such a huge car person and watch a lot of this stuff, it's just, yeah, don't believe what you see on TV and think that it's a beautiful, safe, finished project, you know, or product. And there's probably a lot that are, you know, like just Chip Foos and who else? Like Dave can dig it, and look, I think quite a few of them are like they build them over a certain period of time, and then the episodes get released, you know, probably 12 months or whatever after the car's been built, sort of type thing, you know. And then obviously they're filming several different builds in one hit, and obviously you're all at different stages, so they eventually come out and still trundling along, you know, and they'll probably film the next season as that season's, you know, only just started coming out, the one before it, sort of type thing. I think there's probably guys like that are actually building really good, beautiful high-end stuff, but I think there's a lot of shit that gets built too for some of these TV shows, and it's sad because eventually it comes back around to bite them in the arse. I think probably, I don't know, but I can remember watching, you know, OCC, you know, and all of a sudden, like a few years ago, like they're, you know, Senior was, I wouldn't say he was going out of business, like I don't know, but, stop shaking. Yeah, like you sort of seen that he was like, you know, had hardly any staff and whatever. Like I don't know, I don't know the ins and outs of it, but you sort of seen bits and pieces like that come through, and you just wonder if that's the reason. You know, they had all this big massive fame, and there are people who buying all these things for promotional stuff, but how many of the bikes that was their bread and butter, were they any fucking better, if you know what I mean? You just wonder, I don't know, were the geometries really that bad and the brakes that bad and what sort of things. So yeah, don't always believe what you see on TV. It takes fucking years to restore, especially when you're doing it by yourself or even a couple of guys, you know, like it's taken me over 2 years, well, yeah, off the majority of 2 years to restore that Studebaker, like nut and bolt everything apart, you know, go through everything with a fine-tooth comb and make sure it works, and I pulled all the door locks to pieces, you know, to try and rebuild them and fix them and what sort of stuff, you know. It's just kind of what we did, you know, just to find the bits and make the bits and whatever, you know, to repair them and build them up if they were really worn out. So like everything got pulled apart in that thing. So yeah, it's one of those things you just don't believe everything you see on TV, and that was just, it was a real opener. I knew that choppers didn't ride that well. I knew that they were probably a wee bit ill handling because of the rakes and the long forks and all that sort of stuff, but I didn't realise they were that fucking bad, you know, or was it just theirs? I don't know. Maybe it was just the years all they're poorly built together, because I know Ralfy at Halfass Kustoms, he builds some beautiful bikes, but again, I haven't ridden one of his bikes. I don't really know what to ride, but, and I probably never will. But yeah, it kind of gives them a bad. You don't see many choppers on the road now, but they're beautiful looking bikes. But yeah, I don't know. Are they all that bad to ride? I don't know. But obviously, those things there, you know, that were supposed to be $150,000, $200,000 bikes at the time, which was a lot of money. Yeah, were they fucking all that bad? I don't know. Really, they shouldn't have been, but anyway, we'll catch you later on, and we'll get doing this some more. Righty, so at the moment I've welded that seam. I've plug welded that back on. I have drilled a series of holes around the centre post, and I have cleaned it up and rust converted it. I will scuff it back in the morning and then weld along the edges where it's going to be welded onto. I will put some weld through primer in there, and I'll probably just blow the whole thing. I'll give it a quick scuff back and probably run along with the Rolex discs along the surfaces where I'm going to be welding, and put some weld through primer on the whole thing anyway, but we'll do that. So I'm now just preparing the sill itself to go on. Again, I've sprayed a whole heap of that weld through primer on there. That zinc it, and now I'm just going along, and about every inch and a bit, I'm going to drill a hole along here. I'll also do the same along the bottom, and then in the morning we'll have to build that cap to go in here. I'll have to try and remember that and not frickin' put it on before I at least get the cap prepared and tack it in. Which will get that now. I'll grab it and just sit it there so I remember. So I've got to remake this cap, which goes on this end and here. Yeah, in here to fit in the front of the door post. So to make that fit in there. So what I'll do is we'll get that cleaned up and weld through prime first thing in the morning, and then I'll start making this, and then we can sit and double check this. If we make it close to the same this way, far away, I don't think it'll be too difficult to make. I'll just make it straight, and then we'll just have to measure this, bend it, because it looks like what they've done. Put a couple of tack welds in there and make it decent. We'll soon blow that out, but yeah, we'll start drawing along here. At every freaking inch and a quarter. I'll just check the time, and yeah, I'll tell you we'll be welding that on very early in the morning. I might even better make that piece now. I'll start mocking it up. I'll just see what the time is. Right, morning guys. So, I didn't get that made last night. By the time I screwed around and did a bit of clean up and clean up the backs of these holes with the step drill and whatever, it was basically bugger off. But anyway, so I got this bit of, I think it's 1.6, I don't know if it's 2 mil. It's definitely heavier than the normal panel steel, which this is made out of. This little bracket here is made out of some decent stuff. So I've got that here to make this. So we'll map that out in a wee bit. We'll try and get this off here so I can get a wee bit more measurements off it. But the first thing I want to do is go over that inner valance, give that another bloody clean up. Now we've had that rust encapsulator stuff on it. I want to whip over the edges where we're going to be welding, clean that up, spray some shit on there, just double check, make sure I don't have to do anything else. Yeah, and go from there I guess, and get some weld through on there, and then we'll get that piece made, and we'll do a final check test, see if this and that and my new piece fits together. And if that all goes well, we'll start burning it on, because I want to try and get this the end of this video. So we're over here, we'll do a quick clean up, get that sorted, yeah, and we'll go from there, and we'll get this piece made, and we'll at least, yeah, I want to at least get that on, and we'll call it the end of this video, because it's running on long enough for the footage. Righty guys, so I've got this piece made, which in theory should fit in here like that somehow. So that's cool, looks like we're pretty close. So that's a frickin', I didn't film any of it, but you can see all the little bends and bits and pieces in it. This here needs welded down there, and I add a couple of tacks down here to the top thing. So also, what I'll do is we'll drill a couple of holes in here so we can get a couple of decent plug welds, and obviously also a maybe a Tech screw in there. Just so we can obviously hold it in place and whatever. And then we can fit the we'll fit the outer back on just one more time, just do a test to make sure we are right here and we're not screwing up how anything sits. And then obviously we can probably, well, this here I could probably burn it on the edge or whatever, or we'll put a plug weld in it. Yeah, but I want to test probably put a couple of Tech screws through, and then we can open those holes up probably just as easy. Get that on there, test fit the outer skin. Make sure we're not screwing anything up. Just in case we need to, I don't know, alter something here just to make it sit right. But yeah, that's kind of the inner piece. It needs a bit of a tweak. Needs a bit of a hammer and a tweak in that corner. It's just not sitting. I just sort of bent it in the vise quickly. But yeah, we're in the ballpark, so we'll bang a couple of Tech screws in that just to make sure that's going to do what you want to do, and just get it tweaked into the right position, and then we can open up those Tech screw holes. I think will be the best bet. And then we can, if we're happy with how all that fits, then we can weld that on. Righty, so our gap down the bottom is pretty reasonable. Yeah, the door can be obviously moved around a little bit, but it's fairly consistent across the bottom. Hopefully you can see that. A little piece in the end. Actually, I also made it freaking earlier. It changed the way that sat in the shape quite a bit, and it's absolutely definitely helped the way things sat. I just, I didn't think of making it earlier. I should have. When I do weld it on, I will just jiggle it that way a little bit. We'll have to drill a few holes in there and whatever, and drill a series of holes around that piece. Get that all welded in. But I think we are ready to go. Like I've marked along here, we want to cut this off before we finalise everything. Now I've got where I want to put this. I'll put 2 or 3 extra holes in here, and same along here. I wanted to just see what was covered and uncovered. So we know we've got this here goes through. So I'm going to try and drill 3 or 4 through here anyway, and right through to the bottom of it, and try and clamp it down somehow. Hopefully I'll be able to hold it down with a couple of Tech screws if I can get them in there, and I'll drill somehow. We'll try and get a drill right through here. I don't care if I bore a hole right through. I'd rather fill it from down in and come up, and to make sure we get a good decent join between these 3 pieces. So yeah, and the rest of it we'll just have to try and pull down with some Tech screws as we go, and like I said, every second hole as we sort of go along, so type through and we'll burn them all in. But yeah, so now we need an extra couple of holes here, couple of holes there, and then we'll drill those through once we've got it on. Yeah, we're looking good. I'm happy. I'm really freaking happy now. I think it's going to come up good. It's going to look factory, or as close to factory as possible. It's not too much of a problem to weld up. We now have got a little bit of a wee bit of a gap here, but it's not too bad. I might better just put a little bit of filler rod in here, just fill this. It's a shame, but I should have made that first. It would have just, this here is okay. That'll fill piece of piss. We're going to end up with a little bit of a hole here to fill, but yeah, it's not going to be too fucking bad. It's only the one wee spot. Yeah, and then obviously we can do any other last little pieces, like build a little piece to go in the corner, and then we can actually get this on properly and all that sort of stuff. So that's cool. That's awesome. I'm happy now. we can do the last prep to put the fucking thing on. Yeah, we're almost there, but holy crap! People don't realise, like, if it was just a straight, if it had been like that side and never been bent up and smashed and whatever, and you'd had a piece made, I think it would have been easier to get to fit. But with trying to manipulate all this to back into where it kind of should be, it's taking a lot of extra time to get things to fit. Madness, absolute madness. So yeah, and I don't know whether even if you'd managed to find a pre-made, stamped, old school rocker Sill from factory or an aftermarket, you probably would have had to spend just as much time fitting the fucking thing anyway, if you know what I mean. But anyway, we'll bang all those screws out. I just tested that door just one more time, just to make sure we're happy with that piece in there. Yeah, if you have to fit the fucking thing 10, 20 times to make sure that you are dead right, it's a damn sight easier to do that than cut the bastard off and weld it back on again. Unless it's, especially something like this, if it's a simple little piece and you happen to screw something up and you have to cut it off and put it back on again, it is what it is. But something like this, especially if you had to reshape and twist and bend and try and get things to be closer to factory from it being damaged and previously being repaired, yeah, if you have to fit the fucking thing 20 times and put the door on and off 10 times and whatever, and take a whole bunch of measurements, it is what it is, huh? You just got to do it. But yeah, I know now that all these measurements should be bloody near spot on. I know this here would have come out a little bit, which is good. Like I was a touch shy there, but it was one of those things that wouldn't have mattered a whole heap. You're not looking down there, but as long as it was close, most people wouldn't have picked it up unless you were lying down on the ground. And for a really nice cruiser, it wouldn't have mattered much. But with having that extra piece in there now, made from the original as close as I could. Yeah, it's changed it, and it's pulled it out that extra frickin' 16th of an inch. It's not quite an eighth, but it's probably a 16th. So yeah, it's probably pulled it out a mil and a half, which was kind of what I was sort of borderline shy, if you know what I mean. I wasn't really, but it needed to come out just a smidge, and that's just brought it out to where it really needs to be. So it's perfect. So that's awesome. We'll get the bastard on. I'm not sure if I'll get it on before lunch completely, but we can get it all screwed back on and all prepped ready to freaking get the old electric glue gun out. I'll be absolutely fucking wrecked. Again, I lost extra time this morning with just doctor bullshit with family. Seems to be, it's absolute curse only having one vehicle. Man, I need a work vehicle or something. So we're not multi-sharing vehicles, it's just a pain in the ass. Righty. So, welcome back after lunch. So, I was at home, lunch. It's like, courier picked up, and I was like, pulled up. I was like, you haven't ordered anything, have you? And she goes, Mrs. goes, no. I was like, oh. Nor have I. It's weird. Oh, maybe he might have been going next door or something like that, but he was parked right outside our gateway to where mailbox and whatever is. And I was like, I wonder. And yep, sure enough. Thanks, Mr. Solar Garage. Sent me a air flanger and what do I want to call it? Hole punch. I haven't got any frickin' tape or anything on here yet, or seal it, but very handy. Unfortunately, this leak's bad, but that's my fault, not anybody else's. I think I have got some more fittings here, so I might just actually rob one out of something else because I couldn't find them. But this will come in handy. Could have done with it yesterday. Yeah, that'll work. One off. Shame it doesn't have a little bit more depth, but we won't complain too much. Okay, it's handy. Yeah, it's a shame it just doesn't have a slightly deeper spacing in there, but hey, very handy for doing this sort of stuff. And obviously, yeah, and it's obviously it's thicker stuff anyway. Punch a hole through there, right? And a little step flange if you happen to need it for something. Yeah, a little step flange in that. I'm just being rough here, but so yeah, very handy. If you've got it like a panel that you want to like flange and step and whatever. If you're putting a panel underneath a panel, or even like this here would have been quite good too, but it's not deep enough, if you know what I mean. But yeah, handy if you just want to do a little step flange for if you're making something up and you need to join two pieces together in an odd, in the odd place, where different panels come together and you want a little step flange for some reason. Perfect. I will definitely use that. I just need to get the air fitting not leaking and a few of those sorts of things. I've got some more freaking fittings. I got some a wee while ago. And some more of these. I got extras, like 2 or 3 extras at one point. After I had my big clean up there, I'm not 100% sure where they're located. I will find them, but I just robbed one out of one of my right angle die grinder with the wire brush on it in the meantime. But yeah, very handy, very handy. Save me drawing a couple of holes anyway. So we'll cut a few extra bits off here and we'll get this on. All right, we're getting there. I'm just taking a break for a few minutes from frickin' praying. That was where the advantage of a rotisserie would be bloody handy sometimes. Get it up and get it in a decent position where you can sort of, even if it was sitting, a half sitting position, you know, better get it into a good position where you can just go along and sort it all out. But she ain't going anywhere now. Still got a lot of welds to do, but you know, we're going along and doing every few, and so yeah, and we got that post definitely glued on the back side. I got a few holes to fill in the floor and bits and pieces on that back side. But yeah, and I've only got 2 or 3 down the bottom at this point. Once I've sort of gone along in there and got a couple more bits in there and a bit of a few tacks in around that back part. Make sure that doesn't go anywhere. Then I'll go back along underneath and do every, I don't know, 4th or 5th one, and then we'll just go around and we'll start filling them all in. And doing all the butt welds and stuff like that, like filling the butt weld in and whatever. But yeah, I don't think she's going anywhere now. She's in. Thank Christ. Anyway, we'll carry on. I'm just going to have a break for a few more minutes, have a couple more slurps on my water, and we'll get back into it. We'll keep filling holes, and we'll grind her up, clean her up, and then we'll give her a rip over with the Rolex disc and whatever, and we'll spray a bit of frickin', probably just even that weld through on there, and then we'll probably start putting the dog leg on and getting that fitted. Righty, so we're getting on there. Like it definitely ain't going anywhere now. She's fully got stitched across the bottom. I've still got a lot of holes to fill yet. I find poking a hole through to the inside that's a bit smaller than the outside hole. Just with some of the goo and shit that's on the back that wants to run down when you get it hot. I just find I get a better weld through, and it's less likely to not hold. There was one there I did earlier on that just welded over back through onto the top of the steel. I don't know about that weld through primer. You should be able to weld through it to the steel, you know, like you better spray it on, and then when you weld through it, it'll burn through the weld where you're actually welding, but won't burn away from around the edge of it, if you know what I mean. But it just doesn't seem to want to glue itself to it. So that's partly why I'm doing what I'm doing too. Drilling, or partly drilling through with the stick drill. So I sort of get a slightly smaller open hole. Then that means I can actually get a good burn into the back piece of steel. It is a frame car, so, but you don't want the fucking thing coming off. It shouldn't. But you know what I mean? Like, you know, all of a sudden you don't want a whole heap of them separate and then it's freaking, you know, it's popped open or something stupid. That would be freaking last thing you want to happen. So that's kind of why I'm doing that. But yeah. Anyway, she's on. I will carry on and weld it on and finish welding it on in the morning. But I think I'll call it here for this video. So thanks for watching. Please like and share and subscribe and leave a comment, ask a question, whatever. Be absolutely. I'd love to see a few more comments and people just ask questions, whatever. I don't know. Also, again, thanks to Solar Garage for the what do you want to call it? The freaking step? No. Swager with the hole punch in it. Real handy. I've used it a couple of times around that front piece, banged the last couple of holes in there. Unfortunately, it didn't turn up before I'd put all the rest of the holes through, but it doesn't matter. I've got it there for the next piece I do. I've got plenty of patches to do in here yet. So yeah, thanks again for that. That was absolutely freaking awesome. Yeah, if anybody wants to buy me anything and send it to me through my Amazon, you're more than welcome. Be muchly appreciated. I don't expect it, but be muchly appreciated. And if you are going to do that, some vice grips. the C locking ones, the big C clamps. If you're going to buy me anything, anybody, those would be really freaking handy at the moment. That's one thing I need. I've been meaning to go buy myself some, but I just haven't got round to it. Hopefully one of these jobs shortly, I'll go buy a whole pile of them. But yeah, anyway, again, thanks for watching. Please like, share and subscribe. Be hugely appreciated, because I am getting good views now for me. You know, a few of the last videos have been in excess of 200, but I'm still not getting many thumbs up, which is kind of annoying. A little bit annoying. Like I'm not even getting 20, which is a bit sad. But anyway, yeah. So if you get this far, please give me a thumbs up. Anyway, we'll catch you later on. Yeah, and in the next video, yeah, I'll finish welding this on. We'll get the rest of these patches done and whatever. There might be another couple yet, but we're on the direction forward now. I felt like I wasn't going anywhere for a few days, but yeah, like it's good to get this on. You know, we'll get this welded on. We'll get that dog leg welded on. Hopefully, we'll get the inner arch in and the outer skin on the wheel arch on this, all on this side tomorrow. Fingers crossed. And maybe even that patch up on the top of the guard, up into the pillar, C pillar, top of that fender piece. Maybe get that piece. I'm not worried, but yeah, if I can get the dog leg and the rest of this and the rest of the wheel arch and that inner piece all welded on and all cleaned up and ready to go, that'll be fucking awesome tomorrow. But anyway, we'll catch you later on. Cheers. Hey guys, if you need welding gas, go see the boys at Cool Gas. If you're in New Zealand, yep, go see these guys. They'll look after you. Cool Gas, New Zealand.